Hey guys, this is my second video about reeds and reed care tips. In the last video, I discussed things like you should always throw out broken reeds, you should keep more than one reed in your case, and I also discussed practice routines with new reeds. I'm going to give you a few more tips today. My first tip is when you right before you play a reed, you want to make sure you wet your reed, if that makes sense. The thing with all reed instruments is the reed makes a sound by vibrating against when you blow into it, it'll vibrate, which creates the sound. And in order for it to vibrate properly, you want it to be moist, I guess. So right before you play, you want to wet it. Some people do it by just sticking it into their mouth, which is completely fine. I do that when I'm at school. Another way you can do it is you can get a cup of water and stick your reed into there for like 2 or 3 minutes. That especially works well if you want to rotate using reeds, because putting both reeds in your mouth to wet it takes a long time. So when I want to rotate using reeds in one single practice, then I'll get a cup of water and I'll stick 2 or 3 reeds into it, and I'll take one out and I'll play with it, and then I'll switch out in between. The thing you want to know when you use a cup of water to wet in your reeds is you don't want your reeds to be too wet either, because that'll give you a more fuzzy sound, which is really bad. It gives you a really bad sound. So you should only really leave it in the water for maybe 2 or 3 minutes max. Another thing I wanted to discuss is the thickness of the reeds. There are a lot of thicknesses that you can see on clarinet boxes. This one is a 2.5. I usually use a 3. The difference is it's literally the thickness of the reeds, like how thick it gets. This is, and the lower the number is, the thinner it'll get. The thinner reeds are easier to play, but the thicker reeds have a better sound. But they're harder to play because it's hard to make them vibrate if they're thick. So what I suggest is start at maybe 2 or 2.5 and work your way up to 3, 3.5, and 4. And if you feel that your mouth is getting too tired, you can switch out in between as well. Those were my second set of reed tips, and I hope that helps.